Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening and watching Peter Talks Smackdown. And to let you in the behind the curtain, this is like my second time doing this. I already have like two pieces already ready that I uploaded to my computer, and when I tried to load the first one, it was dunzos. So that's what happens when you're dealing with like crappy technology, but the show still goes on. What's going to happen is I'm going to begin this video or audio if you listen on SoundCloud, and then there's a part where I start to talk about Tamina and Naomi, and then it will pick up where I left off from the first part of this recording. So I apologize. But basically, you listen to Peter Talk Smackdown, your weekly dose of Smackdown review, thoughts, opinions, analyzing shit. Alright? So if you haven't watched it, or you have watched it, you're looking for insight, some things of that nature, this is the place to be to get it. And if you haven't already, pjtw.com. That's where you can find this weekly review along with an NXT review called Faster in the World with my co-host Jake and his co-host, the amazing Fritz, and they do not interviews, but they do reviews of NXT every Friday. And then there's Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, where me and Jake review Raw, give our predictions, and then pay-per-view reviews. This past week, we gave the review to Raw Cincinnati, and then we gave, in video format, our payback predictions. So if you haven't seen that yet, go back and check that out. Also, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down there for the YouTube. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, be sure to subscribe on SoundCloud. On pjtwcentral.com, you see all the options to be able to consume this, whether it's this YouTube, whether it's SoundCloud, whether Stitcher Radio, and if you have a Tumblr account, there is a Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central Tumblr account that you can also subscribe to, where all the content will be on that Tumblr. So again, pjtwcentral.com. Subscribe and share. I noticed there's an increase. There's always an increase. We're sitting at like a certain amount of listeners. If just some of you guys just share it with the rest of the people. If you enjoy this, just share it. It will help us get more viewers and more listeners. So without further ado, past the plugs, pjtwcentral.com. Let's go into this again. This SmackDown, which is in Evansville, Indiana. And I had to actually look up online to see where this was, because almost like 2 weeks ago when they were, I'm not sure if maybe they were in Green Bay, but you have moments where SmackDown doesn't tell you when they shoot the crowd. Sometimes they'll tell you where they are, and then sometimes they won't. And I guess they do that in terms of the size of the city or the popularity of the city or something like that. Like, yeah, they'll show this place, but then they won't show another place. So this week is in Evansville, Indiana. No one even says it. They get either the cheap pop or the cheap heat on the city. It's just they're at a place. I actually had to go online again to see where it was. So Evansville, Indiana. And the intro of the SmackDown music is interrupted by Bray Wyatt, which I thought was pretty it's like the second time, I think in like a month, that they've done something like creative with the intro. Before, I think it was like a backstage with Rollins and Kane before the music hits. The music hits with the intro, and then it's interrupted by Bray Wyatt. and he basically cuts a promo on how he faced Ryback that Monday, and that, you know, whatever, I felt your strength, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna still kick your ass at Payback, basically. Um, After that, the show starts off with Dean Ambrose in the ring, and he's talking about basically what happened that Monday. If you don't remember, in the midst of chaos, everyone hits their move on each other, but then Dean Ambrose stands tall 2 weeks straight, but this time he takes out Roman Reigns with dirty deeds. So he's talking about that, and like, yeah, I'm better alone. You know, I do this alone, I do that alone, I drink alone. I'm just better at being alone. And when it comes to Payback, I'm gonna, win the championship alone, blah, 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 blah. And that he doesn't feel any remorse for what he did to Reigns, someone that he was in the Shield with. And, I have something to say to him. So Reigns comes out. Again, I wish it was this thing where Reigns would use his intro coming through the people as a source of energy. He still comes out like very claustrophobic, and like he doesn't, people are touching him and he feels uncomfortable. I wish somehow somebody in the back would be like, look, Reigns, you're the people's champion by walking through the crowd. Use that as a sense of energy, like acknowledge the people. He doesn't acknowledge anyone. I'm sick of that intro. Like, if you're not going to acknowledge the people you walked through, why even have it? Why even be considered a babyface doing something like that? Just come down the ramp like everyone else and just let go of that gimmick. It comes off as awkward. Well, anyway, he comes down, and Dean tells him that you're not going to get an apology. I did what I had to do, and I have no remorse. Reigns comes back as like, oh, peace, love, happiness. Well, anyway, I'm not mad at you. I don't expect an apology. You did what you had to do, and I have no grudge. But come Sunday, it'll be different. And it looks like he wants to shake his hand, but before they embrace, Kane comes out, and he's just like, rather than trying to win a Slammy for best bromance moment of the year, which was pretty funny, you should be worried about your tonight going into Payback. And he says, Reigns, I'll deal with you later, but right now, Ambrose, you have a match with Sheamus. Right now, and cuts him off. Ambrose cuts him off with like, right now. And Ambrose has this thing where he cuts to the chase. It's like, I've seen this show. We know how everything turns out. Very much like the contract signing on Raw 2 weeks ago for the Fatal 4-Way, where right around the end, when it looks like things are a little dicey, he starts rearranging the furniture in the ring. And he's like, hey man, we all know where this is gonna go. So I got dibs on the fucking table. But he cuts off Kane, and he says, yeah, we know. Like, right now, this is the only way you set matches right now. So, who you got? And it's Sheamus. And then Sheamus comes out. Again, I'm happy that his theme music has changed. I kind of like it. It really comes off as really badass. The lights go out. They show different flashes. And then he's in the middle with the light shining on him, fella. And I was so sick of the one prior. It's a shame the fame lost your head. All my fame, I end up dead. I hate that fucking theme song. I would just, how a song gets stuck in your head randomly and you just can't get it out? That was that fucking theme to me. And now it's gone. I probably have it stuck in my head for like a couple of more minutes. But for the most part, I hope we never go back to that fucking... I hope we never, ever go back to that. But this match, to me, and this is what saddens me sometimes about like today's WWE and the idea of the jobber leading to big pay-per-view matches from feuds of two big badasses showcasing themselves to lower talent. And the fact that Ambrose and Sheamus, to me, comes off as a really awesome feud. it can be an awesome feud. Not a one and done, not a one-off or something that has nothing to do with each other. But this could be something in like WrestleMania 33 as something on the card as a serious feud leading to a serious payoff. But better than fucking Ziggler. I would imagine Ziggler right now is becoming like Shawn Michaels. What the fuck are you doing with the eyeliner, man-liner, I guess what you would call it. But I wish that this wasn't a one-off. The match itself was really good. The two of them have good chemistry, but you know Sheamus to be a little stiff, and the stiffness of the match is like Ziggler is stiffer in the feud or matches with Sheamus than say what this match was with Dean Ambrose. But nevertheless, good chemistry. Ambrose wins on a roll up where it seems like Sheamus is about to do like a power move off the top buckle. And Ambrose gets out of it, swipes his leg off the second turnbuckle. Sheamus' head hits the pole, the post. He comes out and he falls down, and which leads to a schoolboy roll up. Now it's a good thing that there wasn't a finisher to it. So it seems that after, say, when Sheamus beat Ziggler in at Payback, and Dean Ambrose comes out of the Fatal 4-Way without the championship belt, maybe there can be some unfinished business between Sheamus and Dean Ambrose. And on the whole premise of, say, what Sheamus is doing with the whole internet darling, smaller guy, buster guy, he kind of falls in that. Again, he's not as small as Neville, he's not as small as Ziggler, but he's still an internet darling, to say the least. And that it would still go on with the theme of Sheamus taking out your basically indie heroes. And yeah, Dean Ambrose is definitely that. So one can only wait till after Payback or even say Elimination Chamber if this can be an actual feud with Dean's like, yo, you know, or Sheamus attacks Dean Ambrose at some point. Maybe at Payback, come in and interferes with the match because he's all pissed off that Dean beat him at Smackdown. But we'll see. Next up, we get Kane and Rollins in the back. And Rollins is basically kind of snarky at Kane and rubs in the face that, you know, you better do what's good for business and have me win, or you're going to lose your job. And you're going to lose your check and things of that nature. And Kane's like, dude, I'm good. It's not like I need this job. I have money. I saved money. I'm not desperate for this job. So, you know, chill the fuck out with that. And for those who are up in the air about that stip that Triple H gave, or I don't know if it's a stip or what he addresses Kane to the idea that if Rollins, his chosen champion, doesn't win the match, that Kane's going to lose his job, as he's losing his job as director of operations, the DOO. He's not going to be kicked off the roster. He would probably be better off as the Demon Kane than, say, this suit and tie guy. And Demon Kane in the suit is instant babyface. People will love him. It's just one of those things that's just going to have to happen. And I hope so. But that's not going to be the case because I'm pretty sure that Rollins is going to win. But nevertheless, it's not that he's going to be kicked off the roster. He only will lose his director of operations gig. That's it. But Kane sets up a match with Rollins and Ryback in that segment. And this is what's best for business as a sort of comeback. Next up, we get Rusev, the guy with the most genuine heel heat in the company. Thank fucking God, because I don't care. We don't know who the heels are. The Bella Twins were heels. They're still acting like heels. They still get babyface pops. You know, Rollins gets a babyface pop as a heel, but not Rusev. And maybe that's because he's a Russian apologist. Maybe because he speaks in another language. Maybe because he's a dick right now to Lana. And maybe, because he's up against Cena. Maybe. But nevertheless, he has a lot of fucking heat. And it's good that there is actually one definite heel in this. Oh, I guess Sheamus. Sheamus gets some good heat too. But nevertheless, he makes Lana read an apology to the Russian Federation for her actions of that Monday and the weeks before. Just what's been happening with Lana recently, now that the fans are like pro Lana right now, they're using this also as heat on Rusev, which again, it's a little too soon that they're splitting up Lana and Rusev, because it seems like anytime we get a good group of people, a good duo, whether it's a tag team or a ballet, they go ahead and get out of it. And I go like, stop, man, this is actually fucking gold. Why do you need Lana out of there? I mean, you could push her later, like a year from now at least, or something, but it's just too soon. But anyway, he makes her read an apology, and her asking for forgiveness from the Russian Federation and also from Rusev himself. And then Rusev cuts the promo on Cena about how he lacks mercy, how he lacks focus. That's why I was able to get in between your match between you and Neville. And, they recap what happened on Monday. And then he's like, well, I'm going to make you say these words. And they bring up the promo that Cena cut on Monday, where he says, the part in the promo, he goes, I quit. And they loops it about 50 fucking times. It's like troll Rusev. And it was uncomfortable, it was long, and I was just sitting like, how long are they going to do this? And they showed Rusev with a big smile on his face, like troll. They could have put that troll face on him, it would have been fucking gold. But that's that segment. After that, we get Ryback in the back with Renee Young. And basically, Ryback is talking about how, he's not afraid of Bray Wyatt, and then like when I hit him with my meat hook, when I hit him with my meat hook, I saw fear in him, and going into Payback, basically I'm gonna whoop his ass. Which leads to the match he has with Rollins. Now, Rollins comes out and he cuts a promo about the upcoming four-way at Payback. And then Ryback comes down. And like, we all saw it coming. I don't know. You I watch this show. And whenever there's a moment like this, you know that someone's going to fucking attack from the back. So when he comes out, I don't know, maybe y'all did the same thing, but my eye was in the back behind him, because they still had a little piece of, say, the curtain where he comes out, to where it seems like you would see someone come out and attack from the back, being Bray Wyatt. That wasn't the case, though. But I'm still sitting back. I was like, there's no way in hell that he's going to make it to that goddamn ring. He's not going to make it. I don't give a fuck what no one says. Bray's coming out, and before I could even finish the thought process of him making it to the ring without getting attacked, here comes 280 pounds of fucking Mack truck Bray Wyatt that just knocks the living shit out of fucking Ryback. Now, I think I was listening to some podcast and they were talking about the attack from Tamina and Naomi on the Bellas, and the idea of a sneak attack. Is it really a sneak attack? Because regardless if it's scripted as a sneak attack, it's still a fucking sneak attack. And there's no way to prepare for a sneak attack, especially when it's coming from where you're not expecting. You just go, when you go down to the ring, he's going to knock the shit out of you. So just like you just see wet hair and white pants just fucking floor right back. I mean, you know how Bray Wyatt hits pretty fucking hard. This was a pretty fucking good lick that he got on him. And call it fake or not, you know, expect it or not, there's no way that Ryback stood a chance recovering from that attack. And the most funny way, Bray Wyatt attacks him and then kind of slides on the other side of the barricade. He kind of looks at him, which is pretty funny. I guess it was meant to be like kind of wily, but it ended up coming off as pretty comedic. And then, you know, the refs get Bray Wyatt out of there. They check up on Ryback, and Ryback's okay enough. He's muscling up the testicular fortitude to get in the ring and to actually have the match. Rollins, on the other hand, you know, again, he's picking the bone. So he takes advantage of a very woozy Ryback during this match. And, you know, they have the match anyway. And Ryback actually puts up a good fight. It's a really good match. No one's really giving up anything. There's no real big high spots. But Ryback, there's some slams and some move that Ryback does. Right around the end of the match, it looks like Ryback is about to get the upper hand. All of a sudden, J&J involvement on the ropes. He takes out Mercury. He hits Rollins with the meat hook. Then he puts him up for the shell shock, where Noble gets on the apron and distracts the ref, which leads to a raking of the face and eyes by Rollins while in the shell shock. And then he somehow kicks him on the outside, which leads to a flying knee from the top rope, and then 2 super kicks while Ryback is on his knees. And my only beef with this is that, like, I don't know if you guys been paying attention to Rollins matches. Has there been this like empty feeling while watching his matches because the curb stomp is gone? Well, before, it's like we knew what was going to be coming in terms of how the matches will end. Now there's this sense of, we've seen this one sort of like Dirty Deeds style type of DDT that he's done, and now we've seen before where he's won a match with a kick to the face, super kick to the face while the opponent's on his knees. But like, they need to do something about this. They need to do something about this fast, because it's hurting him a lot to not have like a definite finisher. A kick to the face is not a finisher. And they can do better with that. And they need to pull the trigger on something. There's a million fucking finishers that Reigns could possibly do to replace the curb stomp. The fact that he's been doing the curb stomp for so long, we've grown accustomed to it. We've invested in Rollins, the character, with that move. Now, take what he's been doing with Randy Orton, and all these matches seem empty and lackluster, and him not being able to hit the fucking curb stomp. We're losing, and him being a chicken shit too, and him being in a feud with Kane of all people. We're losing interest in Rollins, like, quickly. So WWE, if you're listening or watching, like, seriously, man, y'all need to get y'all shit together and give us another reason to invest in Rollins, and something as simple as a fucking finisher. Clean it up. Get on it. It's not going to help as long as he's still in limbo with how he's going to finish his matches. And these super kicks to the face, as brutal as they may seem, are nowhere close to the impact to say what the curb stomp did. You got to find something that's as effective. And then we're off to the backstage segment with Tamina and Naomi with Renee Young. And another thing that the WWE is dropping the ball on is how they're delivering Naomi, and how they can't make up their mind how they want to present her visually. And now she's showing up without braids. Now, when she came out with braids, I was like, I'm not really big into that. When she came back next week, I was like, okay, I get it. Stick with it. She comes out, she's in the back with Tamina and Young, and she's without the fucking braids. Like, what the fuck are you doing with her visually? Stick to something creative. Like, what happened to the braids? Is she going to wear this? Is she going to wear that? Is she going to have the braids? Is she not going to have the braids? Is she going to have the colored shoes? Or she's not going to have the fucking colored shoes? Like, why? What's up with this fucking up and down, the way you want to present Naomi as a heel? I don't fucking get it. Make up your mind, stick with it, and move forward. Because right now, very much like Rollins, and this idea of him not having a fucking finisher, out of the million finishers that could be just as fucking brutal as the curb stomp, you can stick to one way you want to present visually Naomi. You can. Get to it. Because it's not helping her at all by y'all jumping to like a billion different ways you want to present her. But her and Naomi is in the back, and they're basically talking about how they, as divas, have been looked over, and like we're in a position to take our shit now, which very much was the New Day gimmick when they first came together. The idea of being looked over and taking their spot that they deserve and not standing in line anymore, that they're going to take the fucking shit by the horns. Naomi had her chance at Extreme Rules for the belt. Okay, it was a screwy finish with the involvement with Brie Bella. But nevertheless, you had your chance. So I don't think your opportunity being looked over is the case. You had your opportunity. Now it's like win matches. You're giving all the opportunities. So don't give me this, we're going to take what's ours. Again, you had your chance. Come up with a new thing. Like, just talk about how mad you are about the outcome, and that I'm coming for the Bellas, what's rightfully mine, rather than I'm being looked over. You're not. Like, they need to cut that out in how they write this. And then Tamina and Naomi are coming together. It's like, look, this is our division. And we've seen this before, where I feel like they're in a position, the two biggest, baddest women in the Divas division will probably end up being two jobbers. Because it's just, they did that with the Divas of Destruction with Natty and Beth Phoenix, where it seems like nobody believed, the belief that, you got these two big bad women and that no one should hold a fucking candle to them, but like, they were losing to Kelly and shit. It's like, what the fuck are either one of those losing to Kelly for? They should just destroy her. So now you have Tamina and Naomi with the Bella Twins, and it's like, I feel like the Bella Twins are going to take the win, and it's going to be this build for these two women, and it's going to amount to nothing. I hope that's not the case. I guess maybe I will repeat this in the part after that cut off and now going forward, but I have the Bella Twins winning, and I don't know if it's on the predictions. I don't know if they set the match by the time we gave our predictions, but if that is the case, then yes, I feel like the Bella Twins are going to win, and maybe move on towards something else. I don't know, like maybe Paige. Well, anyway, that's probably in the second half of this recording, but yeah, see you on the other side. And we're back. Sorry about the abrupt stop in the action, but I'm using my phone. It got hot and heavy, so I decided to sort of kick out. But I'm back, and I apologize. I left off where I thought it was funny that Tamina, during the Tamina and Naomi promo in the back with Renee Young, they went for the cheap heat when talking about Brie Bella and how she's a quitter, just like her husband Daniel Bryan. And that's the second time that's kind of happened. I think 2 weeks ago when Naomi attacked Brie Bella, and when she was doing like a sympathetic babyface promo on her husband, and Naomi just jacks her jaw in the bag. It was like, no one gives a shit about you or your bitch ass husband. So, like, you want to get some heel heat, some cheap ass, the cheapest of the cheap. You go down to the dollar store, heel heat. Go down there and fucking just go and talk about Daniel Bryan, and you got yourself your bona fide heel. Well, anyway, I don't know if we did the on Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling our payback predictions. I'm not sure if that tag team was actually set up between Tamina, Naomi versus the Bella Twins. If that's the case, if that's not the case, I have to go back and look. I probably said the Bella Twins get the win, but if we haven't, Bella Twins get the win because, again, we've seen this before. I don't see. The ball is in the court of the Bella Twins. It's been like that for a while, and it'll be like that for a while, moving forward, and possibly having like a three-way, and fucking WWE's obsessions with three-ways and fucking four-ways and orgies going into Money in the Bank between Paige, the returning Paige, Nikki Bella, and Naomi. One will have to see. I just don't see this. Just kind of it's just frustrating to think about because you got these dominant women, and I see them basically doing the job to the Bellas just to sort of for nothing. You give them all this momentum and then stun it. It's gonna be a real shame. But up next we have Kofi Kingston versus Kid, and the New Day comes out first, and it's so great. I applaud any and everybody that's part of this transformation of the New Day, of them being this sort of babyface heels. Like, these guys are just like, look, dude, like, we're trying so hard for you to cheer us, you hate us, and that makes us that much more of a heel. I don't know. It seemed like it was going to be a disaster. Someone went on and fucking flipped the switch, and now we get this New Day gimmick in the way that it should be, and it's very entertaining. I think, other than say Rusev, these guys are probably the biggest heels in the company as well, and it's fun. It's funny. Again, it's very entertaining. Very, very, very much so entertaining. And before the match starts, the New Day comes out to basically shoot on Kid and Cesaro, who I call the Marksman. Damn it, WWE, go ahead and pull the trigger on calling them the Marksman. Shit. I can't be handing this out for free like this. Damn, take advantage. But they call them cheaters and bad people. Like, you know, these are bad people and they're cheaters. And they don't recycle. They double dip. They buy one ticket to the movies and go see two. And you don't want to look up to people like that. You want to look up to people like us, the New Day. So to kind of, so follow us and sing and clap together. New Day rocks. You can't beat this. This is gold. This is like wrestling gold. I mean, I can only think the only thing as good as this, maybe Bo Dallas, but which are kind of similar gimmicks sort of go up. But like, this is as much wrestling gold as what the hell is those guys called? Kai and Tai, when they were just like doing the whole overdubs, and I remember them shooting on, I think his name was Tanaka, and it was like they're doing the stupid Japanese the Japanese or the Chinese kung fu overdubs where they're just running their mouth like that, but then they have like overdubs of their voice, and I remember they were at Tanaka, and it was like, you are an embarrassment. How dare you play on stereotypes? It's just, you can't beat that. You just can't beat that. If you haven't seen it yet, just YouTube Kai Tanaka, and it's basically like them calling themselves out in this very, very funny way of like perpetuating stereotypes. But anyway, the match is between Kid and Kofi, and Kofi, it's a decent match, but this is Kofi Kingston taps out to the sharpshooter, a very painful applied sharpshooter. I was like, man, like, come on, dude. Wait a minute. He taps out during the sharpshooter, or I guess before the sharpshooter is applied. Big E is taken out by Cesaro trying to make the distraction, and then Xavier Woods gets taken out with a combination of Natty and Tyson Kidd, and which leads to the sharpshooter and Kofi Kingston tapping out. And if you've been keeping up, this is Kidd and Cesaro are 2-0 in singles matches versus Big E and then versus Kofi Kingston. So, you know, I've seen this show, and whenever anyone goes over in the go home show loses in the pay-per-view, my prediction is that the New Day retains the belts. Now I think it's going to be Kofi and Big E in the ring defending, not Xavier Woods and, you know, one of the other two. But you have you have Kofi taking the loss, so the New Day is going to win at Payback. And again, I'm not sure how long they're going to keep the belts. I would listen to something that's like, yo, they don't need the belts. I'm like, fuck, what do you mean they don't need the belts? They need the fucking belts. Maybe they drop them at the fuck that shit called? The Elimination Chamber. Maybe they drop them at the Elimination Chamber. Maybe not. But being that the Elimination Chamber is going to be for the tag team belts, that may be an opportunity. So at Payback, of course, the New Day will win this. But one will see. They do two segments. They do one Tough Enough video segment, and they showed Blanchard. I can't think of her first name. Something Blanchard. She's here in North Carolina. She's like, her dad is like Tully Blanchard. She's here in North Carolina. She wrestles for PWX. And the last two shows I've seen, she got a victory over this one chick, and then she got one over Candace that wrestles half of the tag team champions for PWG, the cutest tag team, the world's cutest tag team, and she got a victory over her. So maybe her lineage, maybe the network she has, being the fact that her dad's a wrestler, she probably can get a spot on the Tough Enough show. I hope she gets on. She can represent Greensboro or Winston-Salem, the Triad, and put PWX on the map. It's a really good promotion. And then they went into the Daniel Bryan speech of him retiring. And this is the topic of everyone's fucking podcasts and discussion groups and all this stuff. And I mentioned that may possibly be a work, and it seems a little insensitive, and I apologize to anyone who heard me say that. And it's not that I'm taking his injuries lightly. If you go back and listen to the archives of Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, how I addressed Daniel Bryan, like, it drives me crazy when he's in the ring, because I know that he's going through all these physical detriments, but yet and still he's still going out like a fucking bat out of hell and putting his body through more and more torment. And again, that match with Luke Harper when he first came back, I swear to God, I think to this day we're gonna all look back and go back to that fucking Luke Harper match where he puts him in a fucking belly to back suplex and just drops him right on his fucking neck. And that's probably, and they showed it over and over again. I'm like, why are they showing this shit over and over again? This shit's crazy. But let's just say Bryan doesn't come back. Man, talk about a what if story. It's a shame. I hope he comes back. I hope he stays out as long as possible to heal up. But this being his second time coming back, and first having to drop the WWE Championship after WrestleMania last year, and now, WrestleMania 30, and then having to drop the IC belt. It's just not looking good, folks. It's not looking good, and it's going to be a real shame when he ultimately has to give up his wrestling career due to him not slowing down and taking care of his body. That's bottom line. He has only himself to blame. We win as fans in terms of how he performs. We love it, but then it's like we care for you. It's not like you have to put your body on the line, but he can't do that. I guess we all have these things, part of our characters, where we can't let go of something for the betterment of ourselves. And his is being able to slow down in the ring. And just stay tuned. I guess we're all going to stay tuned to how he moves forward with his career, whether it's going to be in or outside the ring. We just want, as Daniel fans, just want him to be healthy. That's it. I'm not selfish to where I had to have him in the fucking ring. And anyone who's just like, Daniel Bryan's gone, like, just shut the fuck up and let the guy fucking take care of himself. Stop being so goddamn selfish, please. Well, anyway, after that recap and him giving a speech of dropping the IC belt because of his health issues, we get Bo Dallas. Now, not only is Naomi getting the cheap heel heat, the dollar store heat, Bo Dallas comes out and gets his heel heat. And he's talking about Daniel Bryan, and being that he's gone is the opportunity for Bo Dallas to help you get through the loss of Daniel Bryan at this time by going through the steps of, the 7 steps, or what have you. And he goes down the steps: acceptance, denial, blah, 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 blah. And basically how Daniel Bryan let you down again. And it's pretty funny. It's wrestling gold. Bo Dallas deserves better, especially with this kind of gimmick. We want him to be a jerk, but I also want him to get wins, like they did when he first debuted, and he got up to 8 and Bo, and then he loses to R-Truth out of nowhere. He hasn't been able to win a match since. And by the way, he's Bray Wyatt's brother, if you haven't picked up on that or paid attention. But he's Bray Wyatt's brother, and everyone's talking about how he should join Bray Wyatt. And I go, that's dumb. Why would he join Bray Wyatt? Just because they're brothers? What purpose would he have as a piece to the whole Bray Wyatt puzzle? Nothing. It doesn't they don't complement each other really in terms of gimmick, and it's just stupid. But I did notice something. Dallas, this leads to a match with Neville, and so it's Bo Dallas versus Neville with King Barrett on commentary. Neville wins with the Red Arrow, and pretty decent match again, but Neville makes short work of Bo Dallas, which is funny because on NXT they were big rivals, and they had these long, interesting matches, and now it's come down to a SmackDown squash match. But Barrett stands up on the Barrett is an awesome king. I will. He's an entertaining king, especially with that really thick accent, British accent that he has. And the guy just has a way with words. He knows how to talk, and he plays the perfect piece of shit king, and uses big words and majestic words and royalty. And but he gets up on the desk and he's like, Neville, you're a piece of shit, basically. How can someone take someone serious wearing a stupid outfit? A stupid costume, but yet still Barrett is wearing his cloak and his crown and he's waving his scepter. I just found that to be pretty funny as well. The irony of him in a ridiculous outfit and him calling out someone else wearing a ridiculous outfit. But I also want to say Neville's intro is impressing me. I like it. The whole you see this thing come down to the planet Earth, and then smoke goes, you see a flash, and I was like, man, this is really growing on me, that intro. I just thought I'd put that out there. And then the whole Bo Dallas thing. I could see Bo Dallas. If I was to say, hey, who could I team Bo Dallas up with? Not with Bray, not with his brother. I could actually see him teaming up with King Barrett as his sir, like Sir Dallas, and basically being his kind of like, you know, the guy that really protects Barrett and he speaks Barrett up, and how, you know, I just see this dynamic of a bit of a squire to the King Barrett, and he without a change in his gimmick or anything. All you have to do is believe in the King. That would be awesome, and you know what? It would put King Barrett in position to where he's that much more of a threat because he has an outside guy to interfere in his matches, and to sort of like build heel heat on both Bo Dallas and King Barrett. So WWE, I know you're listening. Again, get rid of those fucking 4-ways and all that bullshit. You know, make up your mind how you want to present Naomi, and have Naomi win with Tamina, but also put Bo Dallas with King Barrett. That would be awesome. Well, anyway, next up you got Rose and Rosa. Maybe they'll go by that. Now, anyone's been keeping up, they just put out that E60 special on ESPN about the NXT guys behind the curtain. And one of the guys was Adam Rose, and how he was Leo Kruger at NXT, and how he became Adam Rose, and all this, that, and the other. Now, he didn't show up on Raw this Monday, which is weird. It's like, why are you keeping him off Raw when right now he's like the beloved babyface, you know, looking after his sick child and like trying to make it in the business. You're gonna keep him heel. Not only are you gonna keep him heel, they're gonna get rid of the party bus, or whatever the fuck they're called, the Rosebuds, it seems, because in the promo in the back with Rosa, they're like, you know, like being intimate backstage, and then all of a sudden she's like, but the hot dog is staring at us. The hot dog's like hot dog, what the fuck? And the hot dog's like, well, I'm not the hot dog. My name's Carl, and I'm just wondering when we're all gonna get paid. And which leads to Adam Rose hemming him up and tossing him like 50 yards. And then Rosa said, they don't understand you like I do. Weird. It was awkward. Tosses fucking Carl the hot dog, turns around and says, party's over. So it seems that they're going to run with him as a single guy, like singles without like the Rosebuds guy. The Rosebuds are done. That sucks for the independent wrestlers. They get that WWE check, little TV time. But him and Rose are going to be an item. They start making out. And Kane walks by and he kind of sighs looking at Adam Rose make out with Rosa. I'm surprised he didn't puke. I almost did. I felt a little something in my throat. That's just weird. But he's on his way to the ring for the main event, which is, I find out during the match that it's a DQ match. But did they make that clear at the beginning? I just watched it. Did they just make that clear at the beginning? I didn't know until Reigns grabs the kendo stick. But before we get there, this is basically Raw all over again. Kane comes out, Reigns comes down, and he meets him at the barricade. And smacks him, you know, like it turns basically what it was Monday. And it looks like there's going to be no contest again. But they actually get in the ring after Kane tosses Roman Reigns into the staircase at the bottom. So here we go. Reigns yet again I don't understand the logic. It reminds me of the match he had with Big Show in fucking, what the hell is the name of that paper? Well, anyway, the Extreme Rules, where it's like I don't know. I thought the dynamic of the babyface, especially when dealing with weapons, is like, well, you're gonna do any and everything not to use the weapons, to win clean, even though the stipulation of a no DQ exists. But you're going to then, as a babyface, you're going to be the first one to actually go for a fucking weapon. Like, I don't understand that. Like, chill with the weapon grabbing first, Reigns. Or who's ever booking this, it's like, dude, you want him to be a formidable babyface. Stop having him go for fucking weapons first anyway. At least let the heel grab the goddamn weapons first, and then have the tables turn where he ends up using the weapon, all right? But not even a lot. Just like get the person down, throw the weapon away, and be fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Be like noble. God damn. But no, not Reigns. Reigns, as soon as he can get an opportunity, he's snatching up the kendo stick out of the fucking thing. I don't know it's a DQ match. The guy's like, oh yeah, this is a DQ match. Remember, it's a DQ match. Anything can go. And like, I'm like, all right, then bam. Clean it up. Kane ends up with this stick, beats the living shit out of him with it. Kane tries to go for a choke slam there's a moment where he tries to go for a choke slam onto the commentator's desk, and he basically stands up Reigns on the desk. Reigns kicks him in the face. And honestly, I think that's the first kick I've ever seen Reigns do. It's all clotheslines and slaps. It's like dumb phone went out again. I guess I ran out of space this time rather than run hot. Well, anyway, where I was at is like, Roman Reigns doesn't do any fucking wrestling moves. And I don't know why anyone has guided him about, look, dude, apply a headlock. Just apply a fucking headlock, a sleeper hold, hip toss. Can I get one hip toss? Can I get a hot tub and a hip toss? That's all I ask. Well, anyway. So, yeah, he kicks him. That's like the first time I've ever seen him kick. Does that count as a wrestling move? Then he hits him with a flying clothesline off the goddamn desk, right? After that, he goes against not only a table, he gets 2 tables. Here we go again, him going for the weapons first. But, you know, you want a babyface pop, always go for the tables. I wish there was more of a reaction from the crowd. Not turn it heel, but that's Evansville's for you. But he gets the 2 tables. He sets one. He gets around to setting one up in the corner, and then Kane somehow gets the upper hand in the process of it all, right? And he sets up the table. Then Reigns kind of comes back. He goes for a Superman punch. Kane catches him and choke slams him through the table. Now, we've seen this before. At Extreme Rules against Big Show, same thing happened, but it resulted in him landing on 2 tables outside the ring and him beating the 10 count in a last man standing match. This time he gets choke slammed through a table in the ring, and he kicks out of the pin. He kicks out of the pin. After that, mentally, I checked out. I said, you know what? Fuck this. Now, I'm not a Roman Reigns hater. I just think that in his situation of him making him look strong, you're not making him look strong. You're making him look like an idiot. Because you want to believe after all of the punishment that someone gets, even I don't care how big or small you are, you gotta sell, man. You gotta at least sell some things. Because right after he kicks out the pin, it's like it never happened. You know, choke slams, just choke slams alone, like, put out motherfuckers. Or people just going through tables, put out motherfuckers. But then, like, you take a choke slam through a table, through 2 tables, outside the ring, and now this, it's like you're making him look like someone who you just don't even want to go in the ring with. Because it's just inevitable. Not even like Cena. Like, to a certain degree, Cena gets his ass whooped. He kicks out, but like, it's part of his character, the Superman thing. Not so much Reigns. He's still green. He's still really green, and he's still not battle tested. But yet and still, he's put in positions where not only does he kick out of like things where it seems like, yeah, the average person would just like be dunzos. Not only is he kicking out, he's like back like nothing happened. He gets up. He reverses a fucking tombstone into a Superman punch, and then Spears came through the table that's set up in the corner that he set up earlier. And then gets the pin. And it's like, the fuck? Again, mentally, I checked out. I watched the rest. I'm talking to you. I'm giving you the review. But man, fuck that. That's just nonsensical. It's asinine. It's every big fucking word that means waste, makes no sense, bullshit. We gotta make him look strong. But you think that's the end of the show. It's not. It's not at all. They even showed a little like icon at the bottom of the screen and shit, right? They go back to the back and there's Rollins with Renee Young. And she's talking about, like, how do you feel about that match? And he's talking with J&J around him. And then all of a sudden, Ambrose shows up. But, you know, you kind of don't know he's back there. But Renee just fucking bolts. And you're like, where you going? You turn around, there's Ambrose. And Ambrose is holding a tray of cookies. This is the dumb shit, like, with Ambrose that I don't understand sometimes they book him to do. Like, just random. I mean, I understand that he's the lunatic fringe and sometimes he could be a little bit random, but like that was overbooking the randomness. So he's with a plate of fucking cookies and he's like, anybody wants a cookie? And then he hits, I guess that's Mercury, with the tray of cookies, and then like he's trying to fight off all three guys. They get the upper hand and they're laying the smackdown in his ass, and then Reigns shows up for the save. Clear his house, and then they're, you know, you have Reigns and Dean Ambrose sort of back to back, and they turn around, and then there's this stare down. Then they both look down, and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt is at their feet. They look back up at each other, and Reigns goes to shake Dean Ambrose's hand. Give it like 5 seconds. You look like he's about to shake his hand, but he actually diverts down, picks up the belt, and then puts the belt on Roman Reigns' shoulder. And he goes, don't worry, I'll take it Sunday. And then he leaves. And you have this visual of Roman Reigns with the belt. And that's how the show ends. And again, if you haven't checked out our predictions yet, I basically have Rollins winning this. So whatever it is, image or whatever have you, whatever, it's a waste of your time because he's not going to win. But we do, for the first time, get a visual of him holding the belt. How does this look on him? I say it looks out of place. It looks completely out of place. Slow burn for Reigns. Eventually he's going to get it, but when is he going to get it? Is he going to get it at WrestleMania next year? Either way, I wish that he would face Cena, maybe, I don't know, like for SummerSlam for the US belt, maybe beat him for the belt, or like, you know, somehow end up with the Intercontinental Championship. I just don't see how, outside of, say, what he did when winning the Royal Rumble to get a title shot, that he deserves another shot again for a while. And I would like to see Reigns develop into a wrestler rather than a slap, punch, clothesline, spear guy. Punch. Anyway, but that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening to Peter Talks. Listening and watching Peter Talks Smackdown. Dealing with my phone issues and all that shit. Again, pjtwcentral.com. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to keep up with all the podcasts that between Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, Fast in the World Podcast, Peter Talks Smackdown, The New Day, me and Nathan Newman. We didn't do one this week because yesterday was busy. Go to pjtwcentral.com. All the options to be able to listen or watch this are on there. Stitcher Radio. And it's Stitcher Radio, YouTube, SoundCloud, and if you have a Tumblr account, you can also subscribe to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central Tumblr. And you can go to all the catalogs. I think Peter Talks Smackdown, I think this is maybe like episode 15. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling has been going for 38 weeks. Fast in the World podcast has been going for 16 weeks, 17 weeks. So yeah, go back and check out all those things. Check out our predictions and all that stuff. It's all there. Subscribe to any of those sources to get every week your weekly dose of PJTW Central. You can follow me on Twitter, LINJAPANESE. That's L in Japanese. And you also can follow the PJTW Central Twitter account, which is PJTW Central. That L in Japanese account also is for Instagram, and it's also for Snapchat for those who do Snapchat. And yeah, please subscribe. And again, please share. Like, share this. We're trying. It's such a big pool of wrestling podcasts and content providers. We're just a small fish in a big pond. So any and all the help. So if we got 50 listens, if each one of you just share it once, then we probably can get 100, and then like have the snowball rolling to where we can be not necessarily the likes of Solid Monster or fucking Cheap Heat or fucking Stone Cold or anything like that. We have something to say about something that we all love, which is the world of professional wrestling, and we like to share it not only with you who are listening or watching, but those who would be also interested in the content. So just thumbs up and just hit share. Just share it. I really appreciate it. And until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Payback. Please enjoy it. Watch Payback. And I plan on doing a Payback live reaction thing too. I did one for Extreme Rules. I'm going to do one for Payback, so you can see you will see my live reactions. And then the next time you see me is for Raw Recap, where I just kind of go quickly over Raw and give like quick thoughts on how matches went, wins and losses and all that stuff. And then the full review for both Payback and Raw will be this Wednesday for Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. And yeah, again, subscribe. I can't hit that button down there, man. Appreciate it. Peace.